The Lazy Peon. Azeroth's home to many weird and wonderful creatures, some dangerous and creepy, others cute and harmless. But today we're going to be trying to look at the top 10 most grotesque and hideous NPCs in the World of Warcraft. Number 10. Gorlocs. Gorlocs are an Arctic Murloc race said to be the next evolution of Murlocs. They're primarily found in Northrend and battle the Tuskarr in the Boran Tundra. And just look at this little guy. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, opening your eyes and having this thing staring at you. Very creepy, but weirdly cute at the same time. Number 9. Troggs. Troggs are one of the oldest creatures on Azeroth. They were the Titans' first attempt to create life from living stone, but the experiment was a failure due to a curse created by the old gods known as the Curse of Flesh. This curse changed the appearance of the Troggs from their original stony metallic forms into the fleshy Troggs we see today. Troggs have always creeped me out. They kinda remind me of those mutated hillbillies from the film The Hills Have Eyes. Number 8. Rotface. Rotface is an experimental abomination made by Professor Putricide in the Plague Works wing of Icecrown Citadel, and looking at him, the experiment clearly went wrong. He looks like a Warcraft Frankenstein with 4 eyes and 2 mouths sewn together in a body that's hardly able to stand up. Judging by his work, Professor Putricide clearly didn't attend medical school. I somehow doubt Rotface's personality makes up for his unsightly appearance too. Number 7. Warcraft Children. Although many of the races on Azeroth have children, the majority of NPC children in game are human, but there's also Dwarf, Draenei, Goblin, Pandaren, Blood Elf and Orc children that do exist in game, but they're very rare. Blizzard are really bad at making children in WoW. They all look really creepy. If you stare at one for too long, you start to wonder if they're plotting something. This isn't helped by the Goldshire children that walk in a pentagram formation at 7 AM server time to their room in Goldshire Inn, where you can hear the whispers of old god Cthun. Although all WoW children are really creepy, the ugliest ones by far are the Goblin children. They just stare into your soul. Really creepy. Number 6. Patchwerk. Patchwerk's the first boss of the Construct Quarter in Naxxramas. As the second abomination on this list, he's a disgusting amalgamation of flesh, bones, meat and threads and appears to have the mind of a child with quotes such as "Patchwerk want to play" and "Why you want hurt patch." Although I feel slightly bad for him being so dumb, I wouldn't trust him to look after my cat, as the mere sight of him could cause permanent mental scarring and possibly death. Number 5. General Vezax. And this ugly guy is the second to last boss in Ulduar. He's known as a faceless general and has the ability to control smaller faceless ones. Faceless ones are evil ancient beings in the service of YoggSaron that typically resemble elephants, without any distinguishable facial features. General Vezax, however, looks more like a bug than an elephant and has massive claw hands with various appendages coming out of his back. Number 4. Grobulus. Grobulus resides in the Construct Quarter of Naxxramas. This creature was the first of what was to be an army of plague-carrying flesh giants. This guy is ugly, gross, and has a tube coming out of his face. He's basically a plague-spreading machine with a giant needle arm, so he can just go around injecting whoever he likes with it. I find this guy very unsettling, not just because of his tube-faced, slime-carrying body, but because I really hate needles. Now for some viewer comments. Say Hell on Reddit said Grobulus, not necessarily awful in terms of model / texture quality, but he is one ugly, creepy bastard. Feldamis on Reddit said, when I first saw him I felt really uncomfortable and disturbed. Seeing his tube connecting a part of his body to the mouth, shiver. Number 3. YoggSaron. YoggSaron is a powerful being known as an old god who was imprisoned in Ulduar by the Pantheon at the beginning of Azeroth's foundation. YoggSaron's prison was protected by 6 Titanic Watchers: Loken, Thorim, Hodir, Tyr, Mimron and Freya. However, over time the whispers of YoggSaron eventually drove Loken to betray his comrades and bring down the works of the Pantheon, setting the old god free. YoggSaron looks awesome, ugly and terrifying at the same time. Just look at those teeth. I hope it has dental insurance. Now for a comment by Link to the Past on Reddit. YoggSaron? Please, his eye sockets are filled with teeth. Razor sharp teeth. Number 2. Princess Therazane. Deep in Maldron you'll find Princess Therazane, an elemental force of Earth related to the old gods and daughter of Therazane the Stone Mother. Ages ago, Therazane and Zetar, the first son of Cenarius, began a relationship together and made centaur babies. Those centaur babies then killed their father for their misbegotten creation. So, fearful of Cenarius' wrath, the grief-stricken Therazane took her lover's body to Maldron, where she watches over him to this day. Now, despite the interesting lore for this one, there's just one thing I don't understand. How the fuck does this centaur dude make love to this giant, ugly stone woman and make centaur babies? Another question one might ask is, how does Therazane give birth if she's made of stone? Oh, and one final question, why would he want to make love to her? She's hideous. I have a slight suspicion it was against his will, because no one's personality can make up for having 3 faces, weighing 4 tons and having extra limbs. Joking aside, I had a hard time deciding if Princess Therazane should get the top spot or not. Number 1. Therazane the Stone Mother. Therazane is a monstrous humanoid covered with stones, earth and clinging plants. She has squat legs and 4 powerful arms. Mother of Princess Therazane is a powerful elemental lieutenant, put in charge of leading armies by the old gods alongside Ragnaros, Alakir and Neptulon. Therazane is the ruler of Earth, and unlike the other elemental lords, she is peaceful and loving. It's also speculated that the gentle Earth Mother to which the Tauren refer to is this creature. Now, needless to say, Therazane isn't the prettiest thing to look at. It's her face in particular that creeps me out the most. The worst part is, due to her size and strength, she could literally force you to do anything. I'm glad she's not the bad guy at this point. Now we're going to take a look at a few honourable mentions that I considered for this list. Quill Boars. Quill Boars are a race of humanoids native to the continent of Kalimdor. They have long since battled for the rights of their lands against the Orcs since their immigration from the Eastern Kingdoms. Quill Boars are ugly because they look similar to pigs, and I don't like them because they killed poor Mangrik's wife. Kobolds. Kobolds are rat-like humanoids that dwell in underground tunnels and spend their lives mining, primarily for gold. They are cowardly, cringing folk who live in fear of larger races and rarely venture outside their tunnels. However, whilst not powerful individually, they congregate in large numbers and can prove a nuisance to any low levels questing nearby. Kobolds scared me when I first started playing WoW, as they often killed me during cave exploration quests. I find most rats in real life cute, but rat-like humanoids are just creepy as hell. Now for a comment by Smooth Suede on Reddit. Low-level kobolds, gnolls, furbolgs, leper gnomes and quill boars look like some serious arse these days. They just aren't up to snuff of the current game design direction, and I don't think the Cata revamps actually included their models. They could use some love. Elder Nadox. Elder Nadox, a Nerubian Vizier, is the first boss found in Uncahet, the Old Kingdom. He's a servant of the Lich King and guardian of the Nerubian eggs. Elder Nadox creeps me out because I hate all spiders and insectoid type creatures, and this thing being half humanoid, half spider, with nasty fangs hanging from his face, is not something I'd want to befriend anytime soon. Wretched Fiends. The Wretched Fiends were once blood elves, but they failed to control their magical addiction and are now thin, with a large bony forehead, claw-like fingers and toes, green eyes and strange growths on their back that glow with an eerie green light. Wretched Fiends can be found on the Isle of Quel'Danas, and creep me out because at a glance I just assumed they were Scourge, but after a closer inspection and a bit of research, I found out they were once blood elves that caused their unsettling appearances themselves. Cthun. Cthun is the old god of chaos, located as the final boss in the Temple of Ahn'Qiraj. He primarily consists of a giant eye surrounded by a tooth-like structure, with many eye tentacles surrounding it. Cthun creeps me out because most of the old god whispers you can hear around Azeroth are his. Cthun is a very negative old god, with joyful quotes such as, "Death is close," "Your heart will explode," and "Your friends will abandon you." Maybe the Titans imprisoned him for being such a killjoy. So that's it for this video, guys. If you've got any other ugly NPCs in mind you think should have made this list, please post them in the comments below, as I'll enjoy reading them. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more variety World of Warcraft content. Hope you enjoyed this video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.